Final Fantasy VII is, considered one of the best games of all time. So it's definitely a legacy. A legacy which is being continued with Final Fantasy XIII and recently announced Final Fantasy XIV. I think Square Enix is the only company to ever announce a sequel for a game that hasn't come out yet. I mean, why did they announce Final Fantasy XIV when Final Fantasy XIII is not even out yet? Oh well. That's not what I'm going to talk about. If my voice sounds a little weird, I'm still a little sick. I just felt like making a video tonight. If my hair is kind of weird, I just took a shower. It's like half dried out, half not. But whatever. I mean, you probably don't care. I don't really care. You're here to hear me talk about Final Fantasy XIII. Now, last year, 2008, E3. Microsoft is all up there with their, boring as hell press conference. Like, no one cares about. Then the guy from Square Enix walks out on stage, and everyone's like, alright. There's a couple new games. Alright, cool. And then the moment that took everyone's breath away. Final Fantasy had been only on the PlayStation. It had been PlayStation 1 exclusives, 2 exclusive Final Fantasy games, PSP games, old Nintendo games a long time ago. But when Final Fantasy XIII went to the Xbox 360, people, a lot of people were just in shock. And they were like, holy crap, I had just gotten my PlayStation 3 at the time. I got it for Metal Gear, though. I mean, I was busy playing Metal Gear Solid 4, and I didn't find out until, like, a week later. And I was like, whoa. Because I had never played Final Fantasy, but I knew it was a big game. And at the time, I had intended to buy it. So, I mean, it didn't have a gigantic impact on me, because I wasn't really a Final Fantasy fan. At least not at the time. But, I mean, it surprised me. Because, I mean, I knew that Final Fantasy had been PlayStation exclusive for like 15 years. So, I mean, it did surprise me. Now, we all know that happened. And, stuff happens. From Square Enix's point of view, it was probably a good decision for the company. At least in the short term. I don't know if it was such a good decision for long term. Because, I mean, in the short term, a lot of 360 fanboys. Oh yeah, I need to explain fanboys, but alright. Like, I consider myself a PlayStation fan. I don't consider myself a fanboy. Because, I like some 360 games. I'm not too biased, or I don't think I am. But 360, like a fanboy will buy a game just because it's exclusive, but for no other reason. Like people who bought Haze, or people who bought Too Human, But, I mean, I don't really care too much that went multi-platform. I'm gonna buy Final Fantasy XIII anyway. But, a lot of 360 fanboys will buy Final Fantasy XIII just so they can say, aha, we have the game too, look. Even if they have never played Final Fantasy before, they'll make a point of getting the game. You probably know what I'm saying. So, I mean, in the short term, that'll probably help Square Enix sales. But I think in the long term, there's not really going to be anything special about Final Fantasy anymore. I think the sales might go down, like for Final Fantasy 14, 15, 16. Because there's nothing special about Final Fantasy anymore. Because before, people would, hype it up, advertise it because it was only on the PlayStation. So PlayStation fans and PlayStation fanboys would talk about it. And that would get it attention. Now it has attention because it went multi-platform. 360 fanboys are talking about it. But in the future, who's going to be talking about it, Because it's going to be multi-platform. People know that now. The games are not as good as they used to be. So, who's going to be talking about it? I mean, it'll still be good, I'm sure. But it's not going to have that special something, Now, whether it'll be worse, because it's on the 360 or not, some people are saying the 360 will hold the game back. I don't think that the 360 will hold it back because of the 360 hardware. I think it might hold it back some, because Square Enix, they have to kind of divide their team now. Because it used to be they could focus all their energy on just making the PlayStation 3 Final Fantasy 13. Now they have to kind of like split their resources to make the 360 version. So, even just logically, I don't think they'll be able to spend as much time and effort on the PS3 version because they have to make a 360 version now. It probably won't have a really big impact on the game. Like I said, I'm going to get the game. I don't really care that much that went multi-platform. I mean, I'm a little disappointed, but whatever. So, I mean, if anything, the graphics won't be as good as they could have been. But that's not really such a big deal. I mean, the gameplay will be there, the story will be there, the music's going to be there. And, I mean, the gameplay and the story are really what matter in an RPG. I mean, the graphics, you can see the graphics are better than they were before it went multi-platform. But that's because they've been working on it for like a year and a half since it went multi-platform. It should look better. And it does. I think it could look even better if they were only making a PS3 version, but it's not a huge deal. I kind of feel the same way about my personal favorite franchise of games ever, Metal Gear, and Metal Gear Solid. My next video is going to be about Metal Gear. But, Metal Gear Rising, going to the 360, I was a little bummed out about that, because, I got my PlayStation 3 for Metal Gear Solid 4, and, I was a little disappointed. But in the end, I'm going to get the game anyway, I'm not that disappointed. I'm not going to have, like, a little hissy fit and not buy the game because it went multi-platform. Because, it's not that big of a deal. Come on now. Be mature about this, people. Come on. Because, I hear, like, these idiots on the forums who are like, oh my god, they betrayed us so badly. And I'm like, no, they didn't. It's not like they made the game exclusive to the 360. Come on. If they made it exclusive to the 360, that would be backstabbing. But they didn't do that. So, I'm kind of disappointed, but, And Metal Gear, I know Metal Gear Solid Rising. And then one of my subscribers asked about this, so I thought I'd put it into a video. And Metal Gear Solid Rising is not being made by Hideo Kojima, which is kind of bad, but, it's being made by people that Hideo Kojima selected. So, I trust them. If Hideo's good with them, they're good for me. If Hideo trusts him to make a game, he knows who he's letting make his game. So, oh yeah, one more thing. It's actually kind of sad. Well, not sad in like a boo-hoo kind of way, but sad in like a that's really pathetic kind of way. It's about the 360 in Japan. Like I said, I don't normally hate on the 360 like this. The 360 is like barely outselling the PS2 in Japan. Which, it is beating the PS2 by a couple thousand a week. But, really? You really can't beat the PS2? That's kind of a bad sign. But on top of that, I'm not completely sure. There might be sales to back this up. I don't know if they're official yet. Yeah, this might be confirmed, actually. I think Final Fantasy VII has been downloaded more times on PlayStation Network than all of the 360 games in Japan combined, like sales-wise. Yeah, like Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation Network got more downloads than every 360 game in Japan got sales. Yeah, ouch. Gee. You gotta wonder, what does Square Enix feel like right now? Like, they had to make all of their 360 exclusive games in Japan go multi-platform. And now Final Fantasy VII outsells them all. I wonder how Square Enix feels right now. Probably not too good. Anyway, so, I hope this video's under 10 minutes. Sorry if my voice has been a little weird. I'll be better by the weekend. Expect my Metal Gear video on like Saturday or Sunday. And part of the 2Ube, signing off. And have a good week. Have a good day.